All right, so in this video, we're gonna learn two things: how to start and stop the camera. Super easy. We're gonna do a little test drive. In the next section is how to connect to the camera through the Wi-Fi by downloading the app, and show you all the details, how to get the files right into your phone. All right, let's go over the installation, how to start and stop the camera. So what I did, I put the film here. So we have the film and we hook up the camera and we put the USB cable, and then we have the cable through the car, right? So I connected my case and my cigarette lighter. Even have an extra USB connection here to connect something else. Then the only thing you need to do, right in the front you have the lens, so you need to adjust it up and down, right? Just depends on the car or depends on the windshield. All right, so after we did the installation, the only thing I need to do is turn the car on. I don't need to do anything special. I don't need to touch the camera. That's a nice thing. Worry-free. Camera comes on. Now you just drive from point A to point B, and then meanwhile the camera will do the recording. All right, so let's go for a drive. All right, so we reached the destination. So the only thing I need to do is turn off the car. The car is off, and in a few seconds, it's off. That's it. That's simple. So the first thing you need to do right now is install the application. By the way, we'll be page 19 right in the manual. Now let's install the app. We're going to install it first in an Android, and then we're going to install it in iOS devices, in Apple device. All right, so let's go for the Android first. So we are ready. I just search for the application, Navcrest. We're going to click install. It's pretty simple. Now in this case, we're going to be open that. All right, and we're going to get the first message. The first message is we need to get a request access to write the storage for the pictures and video and phone location. So we're going to click one-click authorization. So now allow the access for device location. So we can click yes when we're using the app. All right, one click there. Now we need the application to access photos and media. So we're going to click so allow. We are ready to go to connect the camera. Now in this section, let's go to iOS devices will be iPhone. So something we already searched for the app, Navcrest. In this case, we're using a tablet. This is iOS devices, exactly if you have an iPhone. So we're going to click open. Now we need to agree the terms. We agree. Now we need to add the camera. For the case, we're going to add the camera. Now the application needs to have access to the location. So we're going to say yes when we're using the app. So we're going to be clicking when we're using the app. Then we're going to click OK. And now we are ready to add the camera into the app. So the next step, my recommendation is turn off your data. Okay, your data plan, turn it off. Anyway, when you connect it between the dashcam and your phone, you're going to lose the data no matter what. Okay, you're not going to be able to browse the internet as long as those two things are connected together. So I do recommend to turn off the data. That guarantees you have a stable connection all the time. All right, so we are ready to go. Right here, this is if you have any problems, you can always email them. They will reply in 12 hours, but it should be pretty simple to do that. My first thing is we are ready to go. All right, let's turn the camera so it starts recording. All right, so it starts recording. You have this in your car. What I want to do now is hold the X button
for an extra second. That will be the one for the microphone. You're gonna hold an extra second. You're not gonna let it go. We hold it, and now we let it go. All right, so we are ready to go now. So right here to show you what we need to search for. So we need to search for the WF-Cam DV, and the password is all the way from 1 to 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Pretty simple. All right, you ready to turn off your data right on your phone? All right. So I'm gonna go and add the camera, and let me wall that there. All right, to show you install the camera. We already did that. Sure, it's in the card. Power it on. All right, we then hold that. Make sure you have that red message right there. Remember, hold that for a few seconds. All right, and we have that going. Hit the camera. So it's going to open my search, and we can see right over here, card DV underscore WFI. Okay, and I'm going to click right there. All right, and I'm already connected. In my case, they didn't ask me for a password because I already did a connection, but it's going to ask you for the password, and you're going to type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here to tell you, this device will not provide you any internet. Like I said that in the beginning. Now we can exit this up, right? And just load up the app again, right? And it's going to connect it. And we are in. Okay, we see here we got the A1 Pro, right? We have the camera here and here into the camera. At this point, I can connect to the camera, and we can see here it's connected. If I show you that, let's see if we can show you that. See, it's connected. All right, so we are connecting to the camera and to the camera. At this point, I get a light feed from the camera. Let's use this to show you. See, so we get the light feed from the camera. I can take a picture from here. So picture is right there. I can stop or can turn on recording. All right, all from my phone. Another thing I can do, all right, is settings of the camera. Right, I can turn on. I can change the resolution of the camera like we did it before. No, looping, recording, dynamic graphing, watermark, collision is on this game. We can change it to kilometers or miles, parking mode. Now I want to check the files, or I want to share my files. So I'm going to go in camera files. Right, and the nice thing here, I can see all the files, snapshots. Yeah, if I take a picture like I did before, right, that's right there. Lock files. See, if it's any file lock, you can see right here. Right, parking one. So if any file the way it came on when somebody hit your car when it's a parking mode and the car was off. Okay, that's the only way you're gonna see that. Okay, so you see all those things. It's pretty cool. Loop. So there's all the recording. I have it right here. All right. So if I press one of these files, I can see the files, miles per hour, even the degrees, and right over here it's going to show me the map. All right, where am I on a Google map? It shows me right here, and it's giving me all that information, miles per hour, and all that. And it looks pretty cool, right? So you get that, and then from there, sure, we can share and we can do much more. So as you see, super simple. I can turn off and turn on the microphone and from one to this point, right? So you get that feed. So see, add that there. So as you see, it's pretty simple. There are a few things we can do from here. You can just go and download the file, share it to somebody, or to your insurance or the capture, whatever you need to share the files. I can grab even the information from the camera, like configuration and much more through there. I can see what files are locked or not locked. I can even manually take pictures or stop recording. That will be the case. That's pretty simple. That's the only thing you need to do for a start in the Wi-Fi connection. Remember that actually there are two ways. I'm going to show you the other way around too. If we want to stop that, again, we're going to press the same button as before. All right, and then we're going to confirm there. We're going to cancel. We press the OK button. Okay, and now we are back onto the normal way. I disconnected from my phone. Another way you can do it without a shortcut. So you press here, okay, one, twice, and right over here too is a Wi-Fi connector. But I think the shortcut is much better, so you need to navigate less for that. All right, and with that, we complete this tutorial. Thank you.